Alright guys, hello and welcome to episode 27 of Hunter x Hunter. Oh boy, it's been 4 or 5 days since I was last able to record one of these. The last week's been like a total mess and I've not really been able to find any time to record. Luckily, very luckily, I was able to quickly record some stuff now, so that's what I'm doing. I'm considering myself lucky that I'm even getting this time at all. So hopefully I can watch a couple episodes. I'm looking like a bit of a mess right now. I'm unshaven. I've got just the light clothes on, but like I said, this is kind of I'm just working with what I've got in regards to time. So yeah, when we left off last time, the gang had all gone their separate ways. The Oreo had gone to do his doctor stuff. Kurapika had gone to get some money from being a hunter to eventually pay for the whole auction thing that we're going to meet up on September 1st. And Gon and Killua are wanting to train and get stronger, specifically Gon. And Killua suggested going to this place called Heaven's Arena, I believe it was, because he believes there Gon can really improve and get stronger far quicker than he would through training with normal means. So, I'm interested to see what all this is about. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so that was episode 27 of Hunter x Hunter. And, alright, I'm liking this concept. So it's basically a tower, and you fight your way up the tower, and the higher up you go, the higher the rewards come, but the harder the battles are, right? And it's interesting, the idea that people could just basically live in this tower and make a living from just fighting, right? Because, I mean, he was saying something ridiculous, like you're getting once you get into the higher floors, you're getting millions, tens of millions per fight. And it's like, that's ridiculous amounts of money. Like, if I lived in this world, like legit, if I lived in this world and I knew that this existed, my number one goal would just be to train every goddamn day, to just get into this tower that you could go in, make it to like some of those high levels, win some matches, build up to maybe 100 million, and then just leave, retire from combat, and just spend the rest of your life relaxing, never having to worry about paying bills or anything because you just got all the fucking money you could ever want, right? I mean, obviously this is an extremely high level of competition, right? Of course. So I'm not saying it would be easy to do that, but I'm saying if you were able to reach that level, I feel like your life would just be easy as hell. Just go there, make a bunch of money, then go home and spend the rest of your days rich. You know, it seems like a really incredible opportunity. Speaking about the fights, though, the combat, the rule system is very interesting. So it said that they had a TKO system. So there's clean hits, critical hits, and knockdowns. A clean hit is a powerful hit that lands and does damage, right? Like a significant strike in MMA, right? It's a similar concept, I guess. It's basically this anime's equivalent of an MMA significant strike, I guess. Like a clean hit that actually lands and does damage, hence the name clean hit. And that's worth 1 point. And then a critical hit is that, but it's really good. You know, like if someone did like a fucking Kamehameha blast and hit them point blank, that would be a critical hit, presumably. And that's 2 points. And then a knockdown is 3 points. And sorry, no, knockdown is 1 point. So if you were to land a critical hit and knock your opponent down with it, that would be 3 points. And I think it was the first to 10 points gets a TKO victory. So you can win by TKO or KO. KO is obviously if you knock your opponent out, that's pretty obvious. And TKO is if you build up to 10 points. And this is the part that makes this really interesting, is that they said that the points don't count if you get up before the referee reaches you. And that's interesting because that makes for some extremely, potentially very interesting and entertaining fights down the line, especially considering Gon's personality. What have we seen from Gon in like the last 5 or 6 episodes? His ridiculous willpower. Against Hanzo, he got his arm broken, beaten up for 3 hours, and never gave up, right? Against the butler, Canary, same thing, got beaten until the sun set and just kept coming forward, right? So if this is a system in which the only way to lose is to either get knocked out or to lose 10 points, but losing those 10 points requires you to not be able to stand back up to your feet by the time the ref reaches you. That means that if you, in theory, have enough willpower and enough physical ability, if you have enough physical ability to not get knocked out and enough willpower to continuously stand back up before the ref can reach you, you could just keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And I feel like that's exactly what Gon could do. I'm picturing in my head a situation in which Gon comes up against a really powerful opponent who just beats the crap out of him, but every time he gets knocked down, he just keeps standing back up. He just keeps standing back up, and he's on 9 points. Or he's 9 points. He's 1 point away from losing, but he just keeps getting back up. And no matter how hard the other guy tries, he just can't keep him down. And I'm picturing that in my mind, and I feel like that's going to happen, and that would be awesome to see. This is a very interesting system, though. So can you? I assume you can give up. Also, I assume submission is also a thing. I doubt we're going to see any submissions. I doubt we're going to see any fucking Kimura locks anytime soon. But in terms of the actual concept of submission, giving up, I assume that is an option. You can say, I give up, my opponent wins, and step out of the ring. And so they're working their way up the tower to the final floor. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure Killua did say how many floors there were. I'm pretty sure he did give like the total number of floors. But I can't remember what it was. What was it? Let me go check. Okay, so looking back at it, Killua said 251 stories. So yeah, we know 200 isn't the max. At least I think it isn't the max, I'm pretty sure. So okay, that makes sense. So if it's separated into 50s, you've got 0 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 150, 150. Like if it's separated in terms of like chunks of 50 pretty much. I mean, it's not actually, it's separated by tens, but you know what I mean, right? Like, in terms of, like, the storytelling, right? Them moving between the different 50s is the significant events, right? In world, you move between levels of 10, right? You go from level 50 to 60 to 70, you know? But, I mean, like, in terms of the storytelling, once they move to the next chunk of 50 is, like, the significant point in which they've moved to the next phase, right? So it makes sense that 200 be the limit because that leaves an extra 50 on top of that, which is a total unknown. And that makes me wonder, if you can only move down by losing, then I wonder if there's just one really tough guy up on level 151 who's been there for like 10 years and has just never been defeated, and he's just up there. You know, because if you can only move down by being beaten, then the guy who makes it to 151, if he's so strong that no one can beat him, then he could just be there for 5-10 years, beating everyone, racking up hundreds of millions, just no problem. But you would have to be insanely powerful. You would have to be insanely powerful to stay up there for that long. Because just think about, like, maybe 3 or 4 challenges a day, maybe, you know, like, just think of how many people you would have to fight. Strong people too, people strong enough to make it to level like 250. Right, so I feel like someone who was strong enough to remain at the top level for a significant period of time would have to be so much stronger than literally anyone else. Because if in order to remain at that level for a significant chunk of time, let's say you stay there for 1 month and you fight one person a day, let's be nice and let's be you know, conservative with it and say just one person a day for a month. That's about like 30 people, right? Roughly. You have to beat 30 people in a row, and all 30 of these people are people who were powerful enough to make it to level 150. So these are ridiculously powerful people, and you've got to keep in mind that chances are there are probably hunters involved in this as well, right? Like, I feel as though this would be a very easy way for a hunter to make money. So you're up against hunters and probably people who can beat hunters and all these ridiculously strong people, and you have to beat them over and over and over again without losing for a consistent length of time. Like, to beat that level of competition consistently, you would have to be significantly stronger than anyone else, right? Like, you would have to be potentially, like, best in the world, maybe, just in terms of fighting ability. And speaking of fighting ability, A new character, what was it, Zushi, I think? Zushi? This little martial arts kid. So he's a kung fu guy, I think, right? I'm not particularly familiar with kung fu as a martial art. I know a lot about like MMA related stuff in martial arts, but kung fu is not prominent in MMA because it's kind of not very good. So I don't really know much about it. So I don't know. Is red belt like he looks? I don't know if this is actually meant to be like a proper kung fu thing because he's got like the white gi and he's wearing a red belt. Is that meant to be that he is a red belt in kung fu? I don't know if does kung fu even do belts. I'm not actually sure now that I think about it. I don't know. I really don't know much about kung fu at all because it's not really something you see in MMA, so I don't really bother learning about it. But yeah, kung fu boy, and he's strong as well. Clearly he's strong, but he's stuck down in the 50s at the moment. I, for a brief moment, thought that he might actually stand a chance against Killua, just because of how they were setting it up with Killua being so confident. That's the kind of thing you'd see in a shonen, right? Classically, like you've got the character who's super confident, and then the young kid, and he's like, "Don't worry. I mean, you can't win all of them, you know." And the guy's like, "Oh, it's okay. You can't win them all." And then the kid ends up being like super fucking strong. That's the classic thing. We even saw it this episode. So in my mind, I have expected the kid to actually like give Killua a proper good fight. And to be fair, considering who he's up against, he did really well, right? Considering who he's up against, he did great, right? But he is up against Killua, right? I would be interested to see how he'd fare against Gon though, because Killua is obviously just leaps and bounds ahead of Gon. So, but that's the thing. Gon has made it to the 150s, whereas he's stuck down in the 50s. So that would mean that Gon is stronger than him. Still, I wonder if him versus Gon would be a closer fight. I wonder. I'd definitely be interested to see that happen. Definitely. And he was about to use something against Killua. It was called Ren. It was called Ren. And there's Ren and Nen. And Zushi tried to explain it, but he didn't really do a good job of it. So I don't think I'm any closer to understanding it. But like he had this same aura that Illumi had. And Illumi, he's very strong, much stronger than Killua. Probably on Hisoka's level, I would say, at least. Like I can assume he's probably stronger than Hanzo. Because here's the thing. Illumi saw what Hanzo was capable of in the gunfight, and probably also just saw what Hanzo was capable of in general. And yet he was still confident that he could kill Hanzo back during the, the exam arc, right? He's still, when Hanzo, Gon, no, it wasn't Gon, sorry, when Hanzo, Kurapika, and Leorio stood to guard Gon, Illumi seemed fairly confident that he could kill them if he needed to, right? Now, granted, that could have just been an act, but you could also take into account that he might have genuinely believed it, in which case it's likely that Illumi is stronger than Hanzo. And considering how close Killua drew Hanzo and Hisoka on the strength chart, that means that Illumi is probably very close to Hisoka. He's either on Hisoka's level or just below him, or hell, maybe even stronger. I doubt he's stronger simply because of the fact that Hisoka seemed so confident in his ability to, threaten Illumi back when Illumi was considering killing Gon. Which makes me think Hisoka is probably stronger. But I'd say that saying Illumi is on the same level as him is probably a safe bet to make. I think that's a safe bet to make, probably. And this is also a great way to raise money for the auction, right? If you go into the auction with fucking 500 million, then you're probably going to have a pretty good time. But man, this is an incredible opportunity, isn't it? But yeah, I only have... I could probably talk longer if I wanted to, but I only have about half an hour left to record, so I'm going to have to cut this discussion a bit short. It's the nature of working on borrowed time, sadly. So I'm going to move on to the next episode, and yeah, I'll see you there. So, like the video if you liked it, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share the video around if you want to help my channel grow, because that's super important. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.